Welcome friends. Today I am going to share the Infosys interview questions that I have recently encountered in the interview with Infosys. I wish this video should at least help few people who are looking out for similar kind of videos or like who wants to know like what kind of interview questions are asked at Infosys. Coming to the interview process, there were two technical rounds followed by a HR round. uh, and the feedback and my personal feedback is like there was you need to have a lot of patience if you are attending Infosys interview. Why I am saying this is there was approximately 3 hours of gap between my first round of interview and my second round of interview. So I was asked to wait approximately 3 hours. That's the reason I am saying that we need to have patience if you are attending the Infosys interview. And if you are on our channel for the first time, these are the list of interview experiences or interview questions that we have already shared. You can visit our channel and go through the videos. I believe this would be helpful to many people who are looking out for similar kind of videos. And if you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe as well. It's up to your wish. So coming to the interview questions, as soon as I entered the cubicle, the interviewer was ready with this code. He was having this code on the paper. He showed me this code and he was asking me what will happen. So there is a array list, like string array list, which takes strings. He has added one empty string and he has iterated the list using enhanced for loop, and he's printing the length of the string. Then he has added a null. Then again he's iterating the loop and printing the length. So what would be the output? So the output would be it will fail after adding the null. It will throw a null pointer exception in the second for enhance for loop. So I said the same. So he was asking me why it won't throw any null pointer exception at the first enhance loop. Even then, like if it is an empty string, will it throw a null pointer exception? So I said no. Like this is a very basic question, I would say. So this was the first question that I have encountered there. So next question was, tell me about your roles and responsibilities. So I have explained him in this way, like what all roles and responsibilities that I do in my day-to-day life, that I have explained him, like developing and testing the code that I have written, giving KTs to the new members in the team. As we follow agile, I will attend all the agile ceremonies, like attending the grooming calls proactively and participating in story slicing and giving suggestions in the retro or feedback whatever is possible at that in that sprint. So reviewing the code of my colleagues, helping testing team if they face any difficulty in testing any user story, and conducting interviews. So typically these were my roles and responsibilities. So I have said him the same. Can we delete a row on a get call in REST? So we can do anything, to be honest. Even in the get call we can delete, but this is not the standard that we need to follow. So it said the same thing, even though we can do, but we should not do. Then as he was going through my resume, he found these things: Apache Kafka, Apache Camel. So he wanted to know like what is Apache Kafka and where it is used, like how it is used. So I have explained him in detail like what is Apache Kafka. And if you are not aware of it, it is a messaging tool, you can say. Using Apache Kafka we can send and receive messages. It is same like JMS. Then he wanted to know like what is Apache Camel as well. So I have explained him in detail like what is Apache Camel and where we have used those things in our project. So next question, based on what factors you slice a story? So there are a number of things that we need to consider when we are slicing a story. And I have said him the same. And lastly I said him like I will personally divide a user story up to that level where it can be tested and coded independently. At that till that level we can slice a story. So next question was, he asked me to explain the project architecture and explain exactly where I have used Apache Kafka. So why I have to use Apache Kafka, I have to explain him like, and I have explained him the entire project architecture and why we have chosen Apache Kafka. That also I have explained him. Then the question was, what is polymorphism? What are the different types of polymorphism? So there are two types of polymorphism, dynamic and static. So I have explained him the same, like what is polymorphism and what are the different types of it. So the next question was the continuation of this previous question, like when do we use static polymorphism and when do we use dynamic polymorphism? So I have to explain him in detail, like when do we go for static polymorphism and when do we go for dynamic polymorphism. Can you explain OOPS concepts and where they have implemented in Java or JDK? Was the next question. Then there were questions on exception handling, like how we have handled the exceptions in our project, and can you create an exception class, like customize the exception class? What is the need of customized exception class? How do you write a code to create a custom exception? So there were different questions on the exceptions, and there were one the question on like try with multi cache also. So he asked me to write a code like how try with multi cache works. So next question was on multi-threading. So he asked me in and out of multi-threading here, like what is thread, what is process, why do we go for why do we go for multi-threading, or in which scenario, or in which what is the need of multi-threading in project? Have you implemented multi-threading project, and in what scenario you have implemented multi-threading? And this all type of questions were asked to me. So patiently I have explained him all the things, like what is it, how do we implement multi-threading, and in what all scenarios I have implemented in my project. Next question is, what is the importance of final keyword? So I have explained him in what all scenarios we use final and what is the importance of final keyword here. Explain the concept of serialization. Actually this question came up when I was explaining in the Apache Kafka. So usually if you want to make your object traverse over the network, we have to serialize it. So this question he asked me in that perspective. So I have explained him like what is serialization, what is serialization UID, what is the importance of it, what will happen if you don't give our serialization UID, and all those things. The next question was differences between REST and SOAP. So there is a list of differences between REST and SOAP. You can go through it, and I believe most of the guys would be knowing like what are the differences. Then there was a question on create your own singleton class, and actually asked me to write a code to create a singleton class, and he was expecting, then later on when I have written, then he had uh, put few questions on it, like why it came into picture actually, and those type of questions he have asked me. So I tried to give my best there. Then there was a question of what is deep copying and shallow copying. I hope most of you will be knowing this. What are the different scopes Spring supports? So there are different scopes that Spring supports, like singleton, prototype, session, request, global session. So these are the typical scopes that Spring supports, and he asked me like in which scenario I'll go with what scope. So I have explained him in few scenarios, like by default it is singleton, and if I want to get it on every request I would go with the request. So like that I have explained him. Then there was this question, like if a parent bean is prototype, and for the child bean, if you are not mentioning any scope explicitly, what would be the scope of child bean? So here it is a bit tricky, but honestly it won't inherit the scope of the parent child. The child will have still the child will have the singleton scope only. Different types of dependency injection, and which one would you prefer? So basically the first question was what are the different types of dependency injection. So there are two types, like setter and constructor. By both ways we can do that. So coming to which one do you prefer, I would always prefer, like if there are all mandatory fields, then I'll go for constructor based, and if there are any optional things, then we can go for setter injection. Explain what are microservices. So I have explained him in detail like what are microservices and what all benefits we are getting, and there are few disadvantages also of microservices. What are idempotent methods in REST? To be honest, like get, delete, put, are idempotent methods. This will return always the same response. Like basically the methods that return the same response every time irrespective of the input are known as idempotent methods. Not irrespective of the reports number of, even though if you are hitting them 10 times it would return the same response. What is the toughest technical challenge that you have ever faced? So I have explained him like few scenarios that I have faced, technical challenges that I have faced. Like basically when I was using Angular, I have faced few technical challenges in implementing few things, like implementing the session cache, like cache related things. So I have explained him the same. So next question is, how can you make Spring Boot server restart on changes? So this is nothing. This is a very simple thing. Yeah, if you are having DevTool dependency in your pom.xml and this is supported only after Spring Boot 1.5, then it would automatically restart the server on detecting the changes. Explain how try with resources work. So I have explained him in detail and he was cross questioning me like, then who will take care of closing the resources which are open? So they will be automatically taken care as they are implementing auto clonable interface. What is Angular and explain its benefits? So it is a UI framework. So I have explained him all the benefits, like what benefits it is providing over other technologies, or what benefit it is providing when we are going with what will say single page applications. So he then started like, what do you understand by single page application? So I have explained him in my own way, like basically a single page is loaded on the UI and remaining all pages just overlap on it. Though we may see like different pages are getting open, but usually only one page like index.html is open at all the times. So what are different types of joins? Explain them. So I have like at that moment what all joins I remembered, I have explained him like inner outer, left outer, right outer. So these were the questions that were asked to me. I hope you have liked the questions. Please do subscribe, like, comment, share to whatever you want to do, man. And I would request you to share at least to other technical platforms so that this may be helpful to someone else who is looking out for similar kind of videos. So this was my interview experience with Infosys, or you can say the interview questions that I have encountered in the Infosys interview. So thanks for watching.